word.
No matter where you believe it or not, Senator Tuberville, this is doing great damage to our military. I don't say that lightly.
We're going to look back at this episode and just be stunned at what a national security suicide mission this became.
Tuberville has shown no plans to stop his blockade, which is over the Pentagon's abortion policy, despite the dangerous impact it has been having. This past week, General Eric M. Smith, the Marine Corps commandant and top officer, was hospitalized for what is believed to have been a heart attack. Senate Armed Services Chair Jack Reed noted Tuberville's hold may have contributed to Smith's health, saying, quote, he was doing 2 jobs at once, working from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. Here's how Tuberville, who has never served in the military, reacted to that.
Come on, give me a break. This guy's going to work 18, 20 hours a day no matter what. That's what we do.
All right, let's bring back Tim Miller into the conversation. Also joining me is Paul Rieckhoff, founder of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America and host of the Independent Americans podcast. Paul, it's great to see you, my friend. You heard them there, stunned, calling it a suicide mission, and then you hear a man who has never served, just recklessly and callously saying 18 hours a day should be par for the course for this Marine Corps commandant. As a veteran yourself, what do you feel? What do you think when you hear that type of comment?
You know, I think we've discussed a lot about extremism in the Middle East, and I think we've overlooked the extremism in our Senate. Tommy Tuberville embodies the most extreme elements of our Senate. I'd call him radical, reckless. He's racist. He welcomed white nationalism into the military. And he represents, I think, the most extreme, the most damaging, the most backward element of our Senate. And this has gone on for too long. So I'm surprised it took this long for anyone to take him on. His own party doing it is a good step forward, but it's been 9 months of damage. He's undermining our military. He's weakening morale. He's helping our enemies. Hamas loves this. You know, Putin loves seeing this. And it's long past time they started to hold him accountable because he's an embarrassment, not just to Alabama, to the Senate, to the entire country.
So I got to ask you, why does he think he has a mandate to take this position? This is not where America is. Hard to imagine this is where Alabama is. I'm sure you probably know Alabama better than I do, but I don't think if I went to Alabamans and said to them, hey, you're really undermining our national security or undermining our military because this senator is trying to score some cheap political points for a political ad, maybe, they wouldn't stand with him. They wouldn't agree with him. No, I don't think so. I mean, I went to basic training and advanced individual training in Alabama. Yeah. And people in Alabama, I think, get a bad rap. He's given them a bad rap right now, but they do support our national security. They care about the welfare of our officers. We've got over 300 officers that are now being held because of this guy's radical agenda. I think it's important to frame it that way. Yeah. It's very radical. This hasn't happened in the Senate, and now he's really manipulating the rules here to jam up the works. So I've been disappointed that Schumer and McConnell in particular haven't taken him on sooner. I mean, this is absolutely endangering our national security. If our rules in the Senate can't move quickly enough, then change them. Our military has to change. Our allies have to change. Our Senate has to change, too. And I've called him Senator Redneck. I think when you start to listen to him and really hear the way he talks about things, he sounds like he wants to drag our country back to the 1800s instead of recognizing we need a modern, diverse, dynamic military in the year 2023. Let me pick up on that point, Tim, that Paul just raised about why folks like Senator Schumer, Mitch McConnell have not taken Tommy Tuberville head on. You see what I would call a small mini revolt with some of the senators that we just played, Joni Ernst, Lindsey Graham. But do you think more will follow, and why are they so late to actually standing up and doing the right thing here?
Yeah, well, look, I'm surprised McConnell in particular has not been fighting on this, given the fact that he has actually fought the, MAGA wing on at least Ukraine funding. So he showed a little ounce of a spine recently, which was something that he hadn't been doing during the Trump presidency. But again, I think that there's concern here. If you are a Senate institutionalist like McConnell, that if they run over, Tuberville, then in the future, other senators won't have the opportunity on more legitimate issues to, exercise their power and put up holds. But to me, that feels like all very insidery procedural jargon in the face of such a serious hold on so many people. It's not like one issue or one bill that goes across our military. It's not just the Marines. I mean, the holds are up and down. and Rand Paul's also doing holds on ambassadors. We don't have ambassadors in many key Middle Eastern countries. So why haven't these Republicans stood up? I don't know. I think those probably because those speeches they just gave gave a gift to the Democrats in Senate campaigns coming up next year. They can just play those videos talking about how Republicans are harming national security. I think that's one reason. The other reason is that, maybe it doesn't play politically in the whole state, but among the Republican-based voters who show up in primaries, this whole rhetoric, I was just listening to Paul talk about the need for a diverse military and all this. Well, the pushback against that from the revanchist MAGA right, saying that the military's gone woke, Mark Milley's gone woke, the deep state is out to get Trump, that has landed with Republican voters. And I think Republican voters' view of the military has really changed in the last 5 years. And I think that's created an opening for this, where there's not as much pushback as you would think, because the power in the Republican Party right now is with the people that show up to these primaries, and that is folks in the MAGA wing that really have a pretty negative view now of all of our institutions, including the military.
What do you think of that? I mean, you're someone who served. You obviously are plugged in with a lot of veterans. Tim's point is right. I mean, the Republican Party has gone after wokeism in the military. They don't like where the military is on diversity and all of these other issues where our society is. They call it woke, and we've heard it from Tom Cotton and everyone else. Has that taken a toll on the way Americans view our military?
Yes. I mean, this is the upside-down world of 2023, where the Republican Party thinks that the military is the thing they should be attacking. I mean, this is not the party of John McCain and Colin Powell anymore. And he's right, it is red meat for the base. But I think that's narrowing. And I think you're starting to see more and more independents and moderates. I'm an independent. 49% of the country is independent. This is the kind of thing that kills them with independence, drives people away from the Republican Party, and drives people out of the Republican Party. Moderate veterans, people who would have joined the party to affiliate with John McCain and Colin Powell, they're leaving the Republican Party. They're not necessarily joining the Democratic Party, but they're shrinking their base. It is red meat for the base. But at the end of the day, it's hurting our troops. I mean, this guy, the Marine Corps commandant, was running to the ground. He had a heart attack. And Tommy Tuberville seems to think it's no big deal. He's ridiculous. He's reckless. He's racist. He's bad for America. And he needs to be held in check. That's the question now. You can't just whine about it. What are you going to do about it? It requires a strategy on the part of McConnell and Schumer to do something about it.
Yeah, we'll see if they actually can do something about it when they need to. Paul Rykoff, good to see you, my friend. Tim Miller, thank you as well.